Hello, hello. How are y'all doing today? Um, Good to see you. It's been a minute. Welcome. Hi, Cody. It's great to see you. I'm gonna take a copy of this agenda and drop it in the chat for us. We have an exciting conversation to have and looking forward to hearing all about all the fun stuff that y'all are into right now. We're living in exciting and frightening times, right? So let's go ahead and take a moment just to kind of ground where we're at and think about, you know, just being present here in this moment. We'll take a couple of deep breaths and let's close our eyes and think about when we think about summer, and as we're taking deep breaths, and what is your favorite summer sound? Kind of focus on that for a minute as we take a couple of deep breaths. I almost hear the crickets myself. Cool breeze. That tranquility and the change of the seasons, let that kind of rush over you and know that nothing is stable, nothing is sedentary, that we evolve and we grow. There's a time to start. Taking another deep breath, letting it out, all the tensions of the week. Breathe in all the hope and excitement that new dawn brings us. As we come back into this space, holding with us the things about nature that keeps us grounded and keeps us wanting to protect our Mother Earth and all her living inhabitants. Think about the journey that we're on with each other as real people, and just want to again welcome y'all into this space. We've got, like I said, exciting, and also, he's living it, right? Alfonso Saldaña. Many of y'all may know him, and for those who don't, you are in for a treat because he is he's one of the good eggs for sure, and he's doing some really mighty work right now that's right in the belly of the beast, Brownsville, Texas. And that might seem pretty obscure and like, what is that? But we're about to hear more about why Brownsville, Texas is such a pivotal place. It brings a whole new perspective to the company store and what that means. If we're looking back over things that we have overcome and movements that have come before us. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, but then we'll move into some warrior spotlights where we talk about, I mean, reports from the leaders where we talk about what you are doing, any ideas, anything you want to share with us, any action steps that we can take to support your work or anything that you need. And then we'll roll into MTA updates. There's a couple of those that are pretty exciting, and then some calls to actions that we have. So, and if you'd like to put your favorite sound, summer sound, into the chat, I would welcome that too. But without further ado, I would like to turn it over to Alfonso Sadata. Not only is he is an amazing organizer, he's also a dear friend, and I'm really excited to hear what's any updates that you have and all the things that you're going into. And do you have share capabilities? Do you have everything you need
Yes,
to?
I do. Let me do that right now. Let me know if you guys can see that. Um, so yeah, as Janie was saying, I reside in Brownsville, Texas, the ancestral lands of the Carrizo Comecrudo tribe, who are currently they're gonna be suing the LNG plant because they want to buy them out, other properties, and they're offering unreasonable amounts. But that's still an ongoing thing, so I don't really have much details. But I can just say that there is a lot happening here. Also, this is where Elon Musk decided to have his pet project, Starbase. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. But before that, I would like to actually share a bit about me and how is it that I came to join Move to Man. And for that, I prepared a little presentation, no more than 10 slides, so I promise it won't be that long. But yeah, so I've never been the kind of person that thought I would be an activist. As a matter of fact, I always often joke that I consider myself a real introvert. So things are dire when even introverts are having to step into the spotlight. And I was never the kid with the bullhorn at rallies or the one that knew all the political jargon. But I've always been a curious person, very community minded, and I love to listen to stories. Often try to write my own, and try to live my own story. And one thing is for sure is that I push back whenever I feel something doesn't feel right. My academic background is in storytelling. I graduated from the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley in 2016 with a Bachelor of Arts with an emphasis in literature and creative writing. And tonight you will be able to tell me how good I am at storytelling because I'm going to try to give you a brief rundown of my own story. Um, so the first time I got politically active was around my late college years, 2014, 2016. I joined Texas Freedom Network, with whom I did voter outreach, inviting people to go out to vote, have a plan to go out to vote and take family members and friends. Occasionally, I also help write the scripts, particularly translating the English versions to Spanish versions, which is the most commonly spoken language here in the RGV or Rio Grande Valley. Um, and so it was a little bit of all my first experience in the political realm. Um, and this was around the time Obama was in office for the second time. And I started to notice that big money interests behind the curtains, pulling the strings, were actually the ones dictating our policies. And looking back, I realized that the fight for universal healthcare under the Obama administrations was a major catalyst for my political activism. I had a mom, and my mom was undergoing cancer treatment, and I could attest firsthand how crazy it was that the treatments were so expensive, and we were not investing just as much money as we do on bombs and the military complex on cancer research. And to me, that was absurd, the allocation of funds. So that was one of the things that started to pique my interest and looking at the big picture, sort of say. So you can say the culmination of political opposition, corporate influence, and the complexities of the whole healthcare reform highlighted for me the deep flaws in our system and motivated me to step up. Um, and well, just trying to prevent others from experiencing those same hurdles that I had to go through because to me it was just unfair the way that things were being allocated. Um, so that was my first dabble in political activism. Then I also found Citizens Climate Lobby around 2017. And for me, that was a really good intersection between what I care, which is nature, and also having a livable planet, and also trying to mitigate the diseases and health problems that come from pollution and all the toxicity that goes on for the sake of profits. So I really got involved with this group. They taught me how to lobby. They took me to DC the very first time around 2017 for a conference where actually I happened to learn about Mutual Women coincidentally. But I was the liaison for Congress, my congressperson here in Texas 34. And I really like that they were really laser focused on their policy reform, which is a really good intersection between science and justice. And I was the co-lead of the National Latino Action Team. I think that's what's called, alongside Karina Ramirez, who now serves as Citizens Climate Lobby Vice President of People and Culture. And we center our work in the Latinx community, trying to get their voices into the table and not just as outreach targets, but as actually as co-authors of the future that we wanted to see. But after a few years, I began to feel that something was not moving. There was not enough traction. I still believe in the work that they do, but I realized that they were treating a symptom of of the actual disease, and they were not addressing the disease as a whole. They were just going after one symptom in particular. And we were advocating for important policies, yet it always felt like it was within a framework that would just benefit the corporations and their profits. And I saw how easy and bold climate goals got watered down by the industrial pressure and lobbying pressure from those private interests. And we were always forced to compromise with the uh, compromise for the sake of trying to get anything going on. There was very little traction going on, and that realization opened my eyes. If we didn't challenge the corporate power dynamics, everything was gonna stay the same, and we were just going to be, the trying to go against that current, that influx of money in our political system. So that's when I knew that I needed to start digging deeper. Um, Simultaneously that year, actually, I got involved with Move On. I was accepted into their Resist and Win Leadership Summit, which took place in Philadelphia. And to be honest, that was really a transformative moment for me because it was being in a room full of hopeful, sometimes heartbroken organizers, because around that time was the early days of the Trump presidency. So there was some despair in the air, but also there was a lot of hope. And for the first time, I saw organizing not just as a theory or a campaign tool, but as a feasible, tangible way of building and fighting for a livable planet. And I learned that canvassing isn't just knocking on doors, it's actually opening up to people and people opening up to you and sharing the things that you care about and finding that intersectionality. I also learned that story-based strategy is not just messaging; it's reclaiming our narrative, being able to share and own our story or our problems, our backgrounds. And more than anything, I discovered a deep sense of solidarity across movements, geographies, and identities. Um, that training opened up a world of possibilities in the realm of resistance and activism that I didn't know existed, and gave me the courage to step up more confidently. And also, I learned a lot of strategies that I then was able to apply in my community, as that was part of the campaign that they were launching. Here I have a little clip of the room that I was describing, the energy, just so that you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. So yeah, those were all leaders in their respective communities that came together to this space and shared their hurdles, but also hopes and strategies, and then we replicated that. But it was a very powerful experience that I can sorry, that I cannot put into words. But other than that, saying that it was the culmination for me to knowing that this was the right path and that I was doing the right thing. But yeah, and from there, like I mentioned, that same year, I came across Mutual Man, and I am a big believer of synchronicity of things happening for a reason. So I guess that I needed to be in DC that time with Citizens Climate Lobby in order to connect with this amazing group, um, which was a group that was asking the right questions, the big questions. What if corporations didn't have constitutional rights? What if money wasn't treated as speech? What if people, real people, could govern their own communities, their own bodies without corporate, overloads or having vetoes or over their actions that they want to pass on their communities or their own bodies even. So I knew that this is where I was meant to be. I now serve as the national co-director, but it was a long time. Uh, Way up to this position where we are now because we have an amazing leadership system where we all share the same title and we are all co-directors and we operate in consensus. So I think just that alone is amazing about this group. We share responsibilities and also we everything that we want to get accomplished is through consensus. So we practice what we believe in, which is we want to create authentic democracy for the first time in this country. And I think that is the best testament to how well organized and how rooted those values are in this organization. And like I said, these were the right questions that I was trying to figure out for the longest time throughout that experience with different groups, but I wasn't able to put my finger on it until I came across Multiple Men. And along the way, I've been lucky to meet a lot of awesome people, organizers, and some of the fierce people fighting for justice. Um, I have some pictures that I want to also share, like these amazing activists and leaders that I've been fortunate enough to meet along my time with Mutual Man, like Medea Benjamin, with whom we have come across many times in the halls of Congress when we go out there to lobby and raise our voices for peace and advocating for people rights, not corporate rights, and also Bill McKibben and Naomi Klein, who we met right after the End Fossil Fuels March in New York City, I believe in 2023. That march was, I think, the first march right after COVID, and it was a huge turnout. I believe somewhere in the vicinity of 25 or 27,000 people showed up for that march. And the first picture that I had on my presentation, I think, was with me holding up that pole. Well, that was actually the U.S. Constitution, like a 15-foot long replica of the Constitution that we carry across the streets of New York. And those kind of experiences are really powerful. Just being alongside those activists, those people that showed out there because they care about having a livable planet. That is a very powerful experience. Also, I got to meet one of my heroes, Tom Hartman, not once, but several times now, because he is a longtime supporter of Mutual Man. He actually spoke at, I think, the very first leadership summit, Mutual Man. I was able to go. So it's just been a powerful every day going to these events, meeting people, but just as they also meeting folks that are willing and willing to drive miles and miles to go lobby their representatives. I've been in rooms with people from all over the country that have taken from their own time and money to go to DC to advocate for this amendment, which they deeply care about. So it's just amazing all around being surrounded by these amazing people. And to me, this work has shown me that systemic change isn't just a theory, it's being built right now, step by step, by all these amazing people that believe in something better can be done. And I'm proud to be one of them. Um, so like I said, it takes a movement. We cannot do this alone. I know that there are many organizations out there, but change really comes to fruition once we come together. And that's one thing that I also love about Mutuma, because they put coalition building as one of their pillars. So everything that I mentioned is has been done through the power of collaboration. We have marched alongside Veterans for Peace, shoulder to shoulder, as they enter DC during their multi-state walk, all the way from Vermont to the Capitol, as they are committed to peace, justice, and now also the We the People Amendment, which they have officially adopted as part of their strategic plan. And we have built really deep connections with many other groups, including Alliance for Just Money and the American Monetary Institute. These organizations understand that their vision for a just money system becomes not only more possible, but protected once we get the We the People Amendment passed. And we have also partnered on multiple panels, teach-ins, gatherings, like the Radical Gathering back in 2022, I think it was, when Alliance for Just Money joined us in that, and they were uplifting the roots of economic oppression, which also come down to banks, corporations having too much power. Um, and we were also there on their May Day for Money in Chicago in 2023, I believe. Um, and we've been doing a lot of organizing together, which is part of the same thing, standing in solidarity with one another efforts, and highlighting each other efforts, but also acknowledging the root cause. And we have actually, I think Jane is going to be talking a little bit about more about that, but we have many upcoming events, partnerships that have sprouted out of other organizations coming together. Like, for example, we were a partnering organization of the No Kings Day marches, and that happen all across the country. I was able to attend some of the ones here in my community and make those connections, build those bridges with some of the local organizations, which I'm going to be talking a little bit more right now. But it's all about showing up, even if it's not your own event, but showing up in solidarity. And sooner or later, those connections are going to come up, because, again, everything comes down to the corporations and the big money in politics. But we're going to be talking a little bit more about those events right now. And I was supposed to change the slide, sorry. So yeah, those are the bridges that I was talking about, building those bridges with the organizations, and trying to make those connections organically. Um, but let me see. No. Um, so yeah, what else did I wanted to mention in this one? So I know that things might look dire right now. The road ahead might not be easy, but it's definitely worth it. And because I believe we are working to unlock something foundationally huge. I often say that the We the People Amendment has become the second most important thing, has to become the second most important thing for everybody, because if we really want to get something passed, we need to understand how corporate constitutional rights and money, speech, shape every injustice that we are fighting against. And once we realize that, everything else follows. You name it, climate, war, housing, healthcare, voting rights, all of that exists. It's not just a vacuum, it all has a motive, and none of it can be fully addressed without removing that legal fiction that money is the speech and corporations are people. That's why doing this work is not just resisting, but it's actually rebuilding and building towards the future that we want. And we're layering those bricks one at a time, one conversation at a time. When I was mentioning the work that I here locally, I'm currently outreaching to my local sunrise movement, and slowly but surely, I've been offering to take on roles and just, for example, we're planning a film screening of a film called The New Corporation, The Unfortunate Sequel, which is a collaboration of Adbusters and I'm forgetting the other name of the producer, but they are actually an organization that we have collaborated in the past. So just making those connections all the way around. The hub is really excited about that. We're just having a hold up because the university thinks that the film is a little too political. So we are trying to see how we can circumvent that. Hopefully, it can be done in the next few weeks, but we're still trying to secure that venue. But now the hub mentioned those incidents to their national team, and they're really interested about the film. So organically, the Sunrise National is now interested in learning more about the film, and there might be room for collaboration between Adbusters or partnering work and Sunrise and us. So it's just showing up in those rooms, being there in solidarity, and that's pretty much how you can build those roads. But I would like to also say and end this by thanking you all for letting me share my story. It's I think not so inspirational, but it is how where I'm come from, and I don't know if many people can resonate with this, but for me, activism, it's not so much that I wanted to be in this, but it's the calling that everything I care about is being under attack. So this is the only viable way that I see as uh, able to protect those things that I care. Um, I might not be very comfortable in the spotlight, but I'm willing to stand up in the spotlight if needed, and I would do it anytime. That was for me one of the biggest challenges, stepping out of my comfort zone. The first time that I went to a conference or a place I had to speak in public. But after a while, it just I came to that realization that if it's not me and nobody else does it, it's gonna be a dire future for everybody. So I just wanted to end up by saying that if you ever feel like you were not good enough to be an activist or to be doing some of this work, speaking up or going to lobby meetings because you've never done it, I've been there. I've questioned whether I knew enough. I felt like the dumbest person in the room. I wonder whether I was loud enough sometimes, whether people could hear me or understand me, whether I belong. But the truth is, you do, and every voice matters. If you care deeply about something, you need to show up. And if you're willing to learn and grow alongside others, you absolutely belong. And this movement is made by real people. We're not superheroes. We are not brilliant all the time. It's made of real people. We have our flaws, and we're just striving for a better future. And I hope that if anything, this inspired you to be a little more confident and be more proud of the work that we're doing, and celebrate the small wins, and don't ever feel afraid to dream big, or going against the system, or feeling that we're going up against a big machine, because in the end there's more of us, and together we can reach those goals that we want to reach.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Alfonso. Um, you're awesome. And also a wee bit modest because, he is he is the backbone of a lot of our communications. I don't know, he writes a lot of the blasts that go out. He handles a lot of our technical stuff and also does all of our social media, like a good 70% of the social media. He's integral in communicating our message and our narrative. He's used the skills that he has, that you know for the movement at large, and as you see. He is also very approachable and very lovable and just all around a great guy. I want to open it up if anybody has any questions about some of the stuff he's doing. He did mention the star base that's going on. He's been part of that resistance there. Um, and standing with the Kamakucha tribe. I don't think I pronounced it quite right. Against them trying to seize their land and NLG expansions and different things like that. And I'll open it up if anybody has any questions or thoughts or comments that they would like to add.
I had a quick question. So Tesla's creating the town, right? Is that also where his AI is based out of?
No, I think that is
Okay.
in Boston. But yeah, the town he is building, it's called Starvase. It's on Boca Chica Beach, which is one of the beaches that we have down here. Um, uh, the news or the update I've heard is that apparently after they incorporated their own town, they're also going to be looking into privatizing the whole beach. So it's just a rumor, but if so, the Carrizo Comecrudo tribe are also going to be suing him against for that because there is ancestral burial lands in those areas, so that would pretty much prevent them from accessing those. Again, it's just a rumor, nothing official yet, but I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm super impressed
Yeah.
with your work with Sunrise, and I appreciate all the updates you give us.
Sunrise, we're usually an older crowd, as y'all know. So we've been trying to
Speak for
connect with
yourself, Jenny.
Sunrise. And we've been trying to connect with Sunrise for a few years now, but they invited Alfonso to their national training, and he was on his way, and his flight was canceled due to poor weather, extreme weather
Mhm.
situation. So, just more examples of how you know the environment is impacted in our everyday lives, and you know, he's living. Um, Thankfully, he wasn't in the same area of Texas that
Yeah, that time.
is experiencing such devastation.
Which is also another example. They cut down the funding for those emergency services, and those are the consequences.
So Alfonso has also always offered if there's any like technical training anybody needs, any skilling up on anything that anybody needs. He's excellent at sharing that kind of information. And, that's part of affiliate support and work that we do
Mhm.
already. And we would love to offer that to you um, for any reason at all. And now I'm going to open it up to reports from y'all. How have you been? And if you have any questions for Alfonso, please, add those or any thoughts.
Yeah, I can
And
grab my email in case anybody wants to reach out.
so, reports from y'all. How are things going? I want to go ahead and note that um, We Are One Inc. has endorsed Move to Amend and the We the People Amendment. Came in as an endorsing organization this week, which is exciting. Thank you for that, Joseph. Um, I want to open it up. How are y'all doing? What have y'all been working on? Anything y'all would like to share? Or okay, I see Laura and then Megan and Cody.
I'm very worried about the secret regulations, secret being just dropped in California, like or lost because of the federal government. And I heard that the rail yard emission standards that California state made, um, the federal government canceled those rail yard emission rules that to protect people, like in areas like Fresno and Sacramento, where the air quality is not acceptable, it's not meeting federal standards. And then the replacement of the lead water pipes the funding got cut to that. Is not as many pipes are going to be replaced. It's getting really dangerous, the things that are happening in the federal government.
Absolutely, Dole. Absolutely. Um, I think we all share your concern. Did we lose you? Did it drop? Oh, there you are. Just moving around. I think we share your concerns there, and I know there's a lot of state pushback, and in California especially, because they could be their own country and still be able to pay for everything else. So I think that's organizing on the state level, and I think we all. Did you say Oregon? I thought you said California.
Is California, the CEQA was the California Environmental Quality Act regulations. So they have to have public hearings in that, and there's like a lot of rules and regulations and standards that makes California so good in the past. But the problem is the companies just don't want to do best available control technology, especially with Trump in power. They can get out of a lot of that, and that's wrong.
Yeah, they've definitely gutted a lot of our environmental infrastructure. Um, Megan, did you want to share? I can't, you're on mute.
Got to fix that. Yeah, I could add to that a little bit. Uh, this has been a rough year in the state legislature. They've actually done a lot to weaken CEQA. CEQA still exists. It's just they've put a lot of if, ands, or but rules into it so that a lot of people don't have to file CEQA reports to move on with construction project of different kinds, varying kinds. And a lot of people are very unhappy about that. There probably will be some lawsuits that'll develop out of that. But there's always hope for the next legislative season. Is that we're going to try again. We're introducing a bill in December to get money out of uh, our politics in California, and so hopefully that will get a little better traction than it did last time. And so that's a fight we're willing to take on soon. So that's looking to the future.
Excellent. Yeah, keep me posted. We have raised up that work nationally and through the state and all that. So let us know what we can do to help.
Yeah, we did.
Rearing up and revving up.
We tried to move that bill, not last year, but the year before, and we passed out Sheldon Whitehouse's book to everybody in the legislature, and it still didn't fly. So I know we're going to try some different things this time and see if we can get them to see the light.
Nice. We could do some socials too and try to share it out that way. Laura, do you know Megan? Do y'all work on any of the projects together? Megan does a lot of state work in California.
I
And
know
good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're feeling better, Megan.
there's supposed to be a hearing on the 16th, which is next week, about CEQA.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah, there's a lot more. There's another big tranche of bills getting reviewed in committee next week. So in the legislative committees next week, there's a big tranche of bills that are going through. So a lot of them have to do with CEQA and some about other things too. And I can't, I'm still not able to go to the hearings because I have just today was made ambulatory by my doctor, but I'm sure that I'm not going to be like running or anything. It's going to take a few days to get that foot better that I've gotten operated on. So, I'm going to take it slow and hopefully I'll be ready to be there at the March for Integrity, and I'm hoping that I can table there, and I hope my other move to amenders in California will come and help me with that at the
Fantastic.
state capitol.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds wonderful. And we'll get into more of that here in a little while. And Salem, Oregon too has one scheduled, and we have some great supporters there that are interested. So Cody and then Barbara, you had your hand up, right, Cody? You're about to talk. You're on mute. Cody, you're still on mute.
As I can hear me now,
Yeah, perfect.
I've been working a lot on the local level at my house of worship in New York. We've finishing up what's been about a 3-year project. We are zero emissions right now. We shifted all our fuel to electric, and we're using solar power from a local solar farm. So we are, as we say, caring for God's creation. And on a broader scale, I try to do a little bit of writing. I'm focusing for the last few months on calling out these ruthless, cruel, I don't know how to say this without using a profanity, what's going on, and trying to link it to what's been decades of deceit and misinformation. And the funny thing, the final conclusion is, Trump can come and go, but in the end, we need to amend the Constitution to fix everything, as Alfonso said. And my latest op-ed has been approved. It should be published, they said, this week in The Invading Sea. I'll be happy to send you a link to it when it comes out. So
Absolutely. Please do. Please do.
I'm trying to stay
Angie,
busy for an old guy.
that's wonderful. And you're back in you're back in Florida right now, right?
No, I'm in New York we usually May to October in New York, and Port Charlotte, November to May.
Okay. Good to know. Some battles are heating up here in Florida with FPL, Florida Power and Lights, and what's going on there. So hopefully we can have a conversation about that when you get back, I guess. I know how you like to focus in New York and then focus in Florida. So let me know when you get back, and we'll and you have time. I'll plug you into that. Okay, Barbara, how are you doing?
Yeah, I was, I wanted to mention, and it, I didn't know what Cody was going to say, but it kind of, um, well, one of the many groups that I've been active with for a while is called Pennsylvania Action on Climate. And they also try to partner with other groups. And one of the groups that they partner with is called Interfaith Power and Light. I don't know if any of you have heard of them. But anyway, they are partnering with a group called Keystone Trails Association to do hikes of different, involved with their group. And so I volunteered to do a hike, which I'm doing here in the city of Bradford. So I'm going to do a hike for them in October, where I'll be taking people on a 3.5 mile hike around the city of Bradford, showing them all of the abandoned wells and leaking infrastructure and stuff close to the hospital and the school and the um, actually acting, functioning, whatever, well in the McDonald's parking lot here in town. It's kind of a tourist attraction. And all of the homes with abandoned wells in their yards and everything else that's going on. So that's coming up in October. So I'll be leading that. So
I'm
Thank you
sorry,
for
what kind
doing
of
that, Barbara.
wells is that?
well, these are oil and gas wells. So if they're that I work with in this area. This is north central Pennsylvania, close to the Marcellus Shale, and which is the most, either the most or one of the most radioactive oil and gas reservoir in the country, if not in the world. And they use the oil and gas waste to spread on the roads to keep the dust down. And they say that, oh, it's not as dangerous as the chemicals that the other companies use. And on and on and on. And now they're trying to do these injection wells. And, I'm trying to tell people how bad they are, because it's almost as bad as Florida in some areas here, because of the porosity of the underlying um, ground. And so they inject this waste that they've uh, from their oil and gas drilling, and they inject it back into old abandoned wells, and of course it's going to leak. That's, but of course they say that it's under the rock formations and it's going to stay there and it's going to be protected and blah 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 blah, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's the frackers,
But
right? A lot of frackers.
well, they have a lot of frackers, but this is an old oil. It's one of the oldest in in the country, and the Drake well is one of the first commercial wells in the country, and that's part of this area. And
So it's ground zero, basically.
yeah, yeah. And so you have a lot more the old type wells than you have the newer fracking wells. However, there is no regulation that says that you can't take an old well and turn it into a fracking well. Once you have a permit for the original well, then you can do whatever you want with it. This is, the Department of Environmental Protection in Pennsylvania is probably one of the most corrupt in the country. That I've,
You should write
we've
something,
done
Barbara. You should write something about what you're doing out there.
well. I have written a couple of short pieces, um, but yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a speaking on a webinar next month, and I haven't even put my program together.
I understand. Well, when,
Um,
maybe you could send us some of the stuff you've written and we can add it to our stories on here if you're
sure.
interested. And I see there's a lively conversation going on. Angie, can you kind of come off mute? Do you want to share what you were sharing here with us? We do. I just saw a thing with the Money Out of Politics group. They're doing a part of the march there, and we have some, really ardent, you know, supporters in Salem. So, oh, nice. Um, I'm in a room with others. Gotcha. Understand. No problem. Thanks for sharing, and would love to get in touch with you about what they're doing with the march, the March for Integrity, and we'll get to more of that here in just a little while. Does anybody else have any other updates or reports you'd like to share? We can have more of an open conversation too after we work our way through the agenda, so that we make sure that we get everything in that we want to talk about. Okay, we'll roll over to MTA updates. Cole, are you able to, you want to give some quick updates about where the We the People Amendment is? And then maybe Katie can do a quick update about the No Kings
Yeah, I can
partnership.
do some quick updates. Hey everybody, turn the brightness down a little bit. Hey everybody, thanks to Alfonso for a great presentation. My name is Cole Bennett. I am a co-director of Move to Amend. I handle a lot of our legislative work. We are building good momentum right now with the We the People Amendment. We are at 60 total sponsors, which is 59 co-sponsors plus Jayapal. We have a meeting with Jayapal tomorrow to talk about, or with Jayapal's office to talk about just general strategy, and this Money Out of Politics March for Integrity event we have coming up on the 27th. If you haven't been made aware of that, or found a way to plug into that yet, there's actions going on all across the country, and this is really centering
Yeah,
the
we're going to
work we
dig
do.
into
The
that a little
We the
more.
People Amendment. What's that?
It's on the agenda. We're going to go over that a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, we're building good momentum with the We the People Amendment. We're in a good spot. We're ahead of schedule in terms of our goal of getting 100 co-sponsors in the House by the end of this session. But I think we can all agree that in light of the goalposts being moved so much from day to day by the current administration and just kind of topsy-turvy political climate that we're in, we really need to be just pushing on all fronts, trying to just get the We the People Amendment, get people talking about it, get it out there, and a big portion of that is getting your representatives on. They're all about to go, Congress is all about to go on vacation in the month of August, but that's actually the perfect time to get them when they're in district, trying to set up a meeting. We'll be having an August recess training coming up on July 30th, that you can plug into and get some just kind of skills and any questions you have about what that looks like. But we're asking people to go ahead and try and schedule meetings with their representatives if they're interested, and then we can answer any questions you may have in the training. But scheduling it now, just these things kind of take a long time to process. Congress certainly is a lot of things, but I wouldn't consider them necessarily fast in terms of getting things along. So getting those in now. Usually you can do that directly through the website is going to be good. And, I think we're in a spot where we really need the We the People Amendment now. We needed it yesterday. We needed it 15 years ago, but we'll settle for right now. And yeah, that's where we are. And we are looking to get it introduced in the Senate, but right now we are waiting for somebody to bite in terms of introducing. We're in talks with a lot of people, but if you have a good lead on somebody, we would love to hear it. And so you can put those through the legitimate channels.
Thanks for that, Cole. Yeah, they're like, they've been a wee bit busy with this big, I can't say it without using profound language, so we'll just call it, they've been busy with the BBB, and we are now going to. So that's part of the problem. White House did sign the pledge during this last election season. That's my biggest hope. Cole is in Atlanta working on Ossoff. Our Minnesota crew is working really hard to get Senator Smith to introduce. We're hoping California will work on um, getting introduced there. But who knows who's going to do it first? But somebody's going to, and we're sure of that. So thank you. So the No Kings, this is part of, so we were partnering organizations with Hands Off earlier this year, and then part of the No Kings. There were over 1,000 events nationwide and around the world. People participated. So the threshold almost was met for the 3.5 for that action. And what do we need for sustained change is 3.5 sustained pressure. So when these calls come out, we have to show up. We have to continue to be there and pressure and having these real solutions on board. And so it's been really exciting. Did anybody else go out to No Kings? Did y'all plug in when y'all were at? Yeah? Pretty exciting, huh? Some great signs are coming out all over the place. I'm loving it. Just so many wonderful people and taking to the streets and that's building. So we have a couple of other actions with that same kind of thoughts in mind and sustained pressure. This is for the first time across movements we are seeing across movement work. A lot of that is because of the infrastructure being able to share resources and share data, which is really exciting. And then the other thing is recognizing that this is all connected, right? All of our stuff is truly connected. And I think people are seeing that more with corporate greed and what's happening. So the Good Trouble Lives On action, and where was it? Angie had put it into the chat that she's organizing in her community for that. We are a partnering organization with for Good Trouble Lives On March as well, and we now have over 1,000 events nationwide. Hundreds of organizations have pulled in, and millions of people around the country are going to participate in that. That is July 17th in a community near you. And, this is kind of, it's tied obviously to civil rights that are being stripped away in the anniversary of Congressman John Lewis's passing. This is, just to name that 8 congressional members have died in the last 2 years, and they've all been Democrats. I think we need to recognize the pivotal moment that we're in, and that this is a national day of nonviolent action. Sustain nonviolent, non-cooperation actions are what's going to be the only thing that can stop what's happening now. And so we have to keep that pressure up, and we are plugging in everywhere we can to make this connection. That's one of the wonderful things about this March for Integrity that we'll be following on the 27th, and they're both linked in here. We're still in the getting the infrastructure in for the Money Out of Politics March, the March for Integrity that we have at the Good Trouble Lives On. Capacity wise, the Money Out of Politics movement group is very young to this. It's a veteran led, started, he's actually still active duty, but very close to not being. And, he recognized that the money in our politics is a big major problem and how we got into this. And as he has learned that, corporate personhood goes hand in hand with that, right? Their money equaling free speech. So now their demand has changed from passing a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics to passing the We the People Amendment, because that's how it works in our movements. We talk to each other, we communicate, we find solutions, and we build, and we demand them together. So that's really exciting too. So it's a great follow-up to Good Trouble Lives On, right? And this is the first time that the We the People Amendment has been a demand in a protest of this size. So just wanted to name that and how important we think it is. So if you haven't yet and you're interested in starting something in your community, go ahead and sign up and we'll get you all the information you need. And it's a great way to connect with others in your community, being the host of these things, to build movements in coordination in your area to create policy and action that is local and is meaningful for each other. Just like Laura and Megan connecting in state of Florida, just these connections keep getting made, and as we build together, we just might be able to get out of all of this mess, right? And then in September, there's a week of action for peace and climate justice. So, Code Pink and others are realizing and seeing the nexus of these things. In some spaces, I'm not seeing a full analysis where they're connecting all the dots to say corporate personhood and money is free speech, but connecting to the dots to you cannot get to be peace or get to climate justice until we reach peace. You can't get peace until so all of these things are so intertwined, and we are participating in working with War is Not Green group, and they've asked us to come on and sign this letter, War is Not Green letter, in solidarity with them. And we had brought it up last week. I'm going to ask again, is anybody opposed to us signing on to this letter as the Ecology Network here?
Not at all.
Okay, excellent. We're going to do that, and we're going to keep connecting with that. And then I also wanted to bring up again the Sunday Earth Day thing. So Sunday is like another response to Earth Day, that connection. John Seekwood, who was with us last month out of New York, came and shared his work with us and was raising this up. It's Third Act is kind of like the facilitators of this, but creating, instead of just having one Earth Day, or this is a Sunday, and where we're promoting alternatives for where we come together as a community and celebrate our natural resources, our natural environment, while at the same time demanding that we go to renewables such as sun, solar type energy sources, since it is what it is. So just again wanted to bring that up and raise that up for everybody if they wanted to be on that. There's a cute little art project on there to create your own sun, and it'll be muraled. They can be passed out and they can be done at different events that you're doing as another little thing if you're looking to bring people in. But connecting with that is that request was still out. So I just wanted to share that again, just in case anybody was interested in participating in that. So we'll keep bringing these up, but again, Good Trouble Lives On will be on the 17th. If you share anything about Good Trouble Lives On and you're interested, please share it up from this source code, so that we know, if you want to raise the work we're doing up, because that way they'll share that information with us. Anything that comes in through this source code which is how all these groups have been able to like justify spending that time on it too, is because we will still have that data and be able to, you know, show to our supporters and to our board how important it is in that way too, you know. So it just lets us know who's taking action and where the energy is too. And so that way it's just an agreement that's been going on through these types of actions, which I feel have been the reason why they've been able to be so powerful. And they have the infrastructure, right? Public Citizen, for example, is the umbrella that's hosting this. They were having 125 events come in a day. You know, Move to Amend doesn't have that capacity. We don't even have employees, right? We are a grassroots volunteer organization. So, and so that's the infrastructure we're working on, with trying to get it there for money out of politics. March as well, that March for Integrity. And we got in early with them, so you know, hopefully we can help them connect. Public Citizens, you know, they have like 40 employees, and they're also an endorsing org of Move to Amend and the We the People Amendment. So I'm hoping that connection will help us get them on board to help us be able to field that kind of action, to make sure that, you know, we're doing it safely and respectfully, and you know it. So anyway, just wanted to raise that up. Does anybody have any questions about any of this or where we're at? Does everybody plan to go to Good Trouble Lives On actions? Me too. I'm excited for all of these things coming up, and to continue to connect with others in my community that are fed up and know that they're going to be able to make a difference by doing that. So does anyone else have any other calls to actions, events we should be plugging into, communities that we should be connecting with? Any of the work that you're doing locally that we can raise up and share out?
Did you hear about the toxic waste dumps in California that are on expired permits because they don't have linings, and they can't get permits until they improve their technology, and they're
Right.
just operating. There's nowhere else to dump the waste, and they're putting in regular landfills which aren't really made for toxic waste near disadvantaged communities. It's scary what's going on. Like, why they can't use better pollution control technology. Even the mining, that the lithium mining that's going on in the Salton Sea, that the Native Americans are frightened of it because there's a lot of dust blowing around, like toxic mineral dust. And they should use better pollution control technology.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about AI. I'm right there with you. And, you know, we have all this AI that's doing this absolutely destructive for the environment. But what are they using it for, instead of doing things like you were talking about, creating some real safeguards and maybe designing something better? You know, like Spotify CEO is investing in AI military warfare companies. And, I mean, it's not funny. The the nuclear site, they're ramping that up. What's that island? What's it called? Something Island. It's a nuclear site that they had closed down.
3 Mile Island.
Yeah, and they're opening it back up, and they're
Yeah.
not using it for energy for, you know, the country or for any states. They're using
Data
it
center.
Google. Yeah, they're just using it for Google. The whole, and as we approach the anniversary of Nakasami, anyway, so I digress. I'm inspired by how folks are making the connections, though, and how we can't get to one place until we deal with, this fundamental problem of corporate rule. So that's kind of where I'm feeling encouraged. Is there any places that you're feeling encouraged, Laura? I know it's really hard to see through it. I mean, I am so disgusted every day, honestly. My stomach is churning every day. So yes, 3 Mile Island. Yes, definitely move to amend is who opened the space for this Ecology Network. So they will support and they support this space and our folks in this space. For that's why I said if there's resources on the ground that's needed that we can help with, technical, creating like memes, which I'm seeing when you were talking, Laura, I was thinking, these visuals, and maybe Katie can share an example of, the kind of visuals that can be created for raising awareness in your area about what they're doing. And, also trying to stay focused. What can we do about it? Because people are, they're sick right now, right? And they're feeling a wee bit of the despair. So we want to try to add solutions in ways we know would or could help. Thank you for that, Barbara.
Yeah, I
Well, I
didn't
want
have
to.
I didn't have your email in front of me, so I just sent it to Alfonso.
Thank you. Yeah, he can forward it to me. Help me get it put up. He helps with that stuff on the website. And that's another space too, if you want to create events there, that's a way you can share them out. And then we can share that information with you on who signs up for local events or local things. If you wanted to do the walk, Barbara, and share it out in that way too. There's, these type of resources. Does it make sense to call for, promote, support, and plan a general hike? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And we've been meeting with a group we're partnering with, Strike for Your Rights. We're in the process right now of putting together a survey that we're sending out to see, to try to gauge and explore what folks will strike for. And so it's kind of in the early stages, but it's definitely happening, and we're definitely organizing towards that. And as that flushes out, or if anyone wants me to loop them into those calls, they're still in the early stages, but if you're interested in being part of those conversations and those planning calls, I will make sure that you get an invite, because we can use all the help we can get on it. And as always, if you and your local community want, if your rep isn't already on board and you want to, do some lobbying in that area, just let us know, and one of us will, and we can support you in any of that. Help find other people in your community that are already supporters, and if you want, we can join you on that call. We can help you organize the call. We have all the resources that you need, templates, step by step, and to develop those relationships with your elected officials. So that's all I have on the agenda, unless anybody else has anything else they want to share or
Going to mention
talk
the
about.
carbon capture is a bad investment. It costs more money than just storing the energy. Well, actually, it just costs a lot of money, and the carbon gets out of it could leak out as a potential of exploding, and so many holes like cracks in the casings of the old wells they're storing it in, and
Yeah, so you're talking about with that
it's expensive to capture all that carbon. I heard it's more expensive
like
than just using
carbon
battery
capture,
electric.
like we could plant trees, carbon capture.
I think they're just trying to store it underground, like in carbon dioxide or something in pipes.
Yeah, that's you're talking about the wells that Barbara's talking about, or something different. I'm
Yeah, they're
just
putting
trying to
carbon dioxide
just
in the
trying to catch
wells,
up.
I heard, and storing it to try to keep it out of the atmosphere. But the volume they're going to have to do it at, it's very expensive to do that large scale enough to, because we're already exceeding the limit so much, and so much carbon dioxide has to be removed from the atmosphere
And
Right,
that
and all of the
it's also
earthquakes
very
and stuff.
it costs
dangerous.
more money than just converting to electric in the first place, and not even drilling for fossil fuels and not for using the gas.
The CO2 is also a really dangerous issue. If you want to find out more about it, they made a movie called The Gassing of Sartasha, and it's about a CO2 pipeline that broke, and because CO2 is heavier than oxygen, it stayed on the ground and it suffocated people. And this whole town, I don't think anybody actually died, but several people had lung damage and stuff that was permanent, and there was all kinds of issues. And that was from CO2 that they were sending somewhere to be sequestered.
California is doing a lot of those projects, storing carbon dioxide into the ground. They have plans for a lot of those things. We're trying to protest every one of them.
Yeah, every one of them needs to happen. I'm going to send you my contact information, Angie, and reach out to me with your email or give me a call, and I'll get you connected with folks that we have in the area.
I heard the storing of carbon on organic farms is the best way to store it naturally in the ground, like in
How?
Yes.
compost and
Right.
Trees.
Planting trees. They're the best carbon capturers ever, you know. We could do like some real reforesting. I lived up by the ancients in California, the redwoods, and we have less than 3% of um of our ancient redwoods left that we have. And they used to go all the way across, is my understanding. And yeah, definitely stop deforestation and replanting. Not only stopping, but we can reverse all of this by having a major planting campaign. Like they did for the parks. What was that group called? Where they went in and made these trails for the parks, and it was they put a bunch of people to work doing that. We could just put a bunch of people to work replanting forests and creating community gardens and um, yeah. And I think it's really important that we keep naming the world that we want to see, the world one that we all deserve. And Laura, we have another somebody that usually comes to this meeting. They're in California and they do a lot of that. They do uh tree planting and different things like that. And it really, really is like good for his soul, he says, to get out there and do that in the middle of any, and he's always at a protest, you know what I mean? But that might help. I feel like you could use some good Mother Earth time right now. I know that that's what I need when I'm feeling overwhelmed. That's why I sit outside. I sit out here 10 hours a day when I'm working, and it's hot. I'm in Florida. It gets to be 100 degrees. I'm just pouring sweat and still sitting out here and seeing the trees and feeling the fresh air. And even if it's stagnant, you know, it's it helps a lot. A suggestion of heartfelt suggestion. And if you're interested in meeting or connecting with him to see if any of this is going on in your community, I would happily put you in touch
Okay.
with him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, where's the link to all the meetings and events?
On the website for this call is right here. And then for the marches and stuff like that, which is really good. Did you get those? I want to reshare the agenda in here so that you have that. And
On the agenda, I see the agenda. Wait, oh no,
okay, they're
oh,
linked in there. There's different stuff linked in there as well. But let me know if you're interested. You know, you can always reach out to me too if there's anything that we talk about here that hasn't that resonated or you want to be a part of. Yeah. Just want to
okay,
raise
I
up this
found it.
cute little picture of Katie's nephew. She made that sign. Wonder if it'll let me share it. Yeah. So she made this sign for the No Kings Day protest. Isn't this a great way to connect? Um, Move to amend. She had his last time we went to DC to do our citizen lobby stuff. And she got him a future president shirt. And so he came out to talk about how scary corporate person is. One of my favorite
That is cute.
protest signs for the for the day. Katie's been making my protest signs for like 10 years. All I have to do is have an idea and give her a poster board, and boom, she'll whip it out in like 2 seconds. So
She's every
well,
artist.
right. Well, thank you all for all that you're doing. And again, thank you for being here. We did start this space with Move to Amend because many of us came to this work and came to this realization how important this is through an environmental lens. And it's somewhere that we still connect all the time. And we thought this would be a good place to kind of like share our resources, share our ideas, share our solutions, and at times share our
Well,
pain.
I forgot. I read something very interesting. There was some report, NASA National Academy of Sciences about advancing understanding of offshore oil and gas systemic risk in the U.S. Gulf of Mexico. And what the report found that progress after they had that big spill and release in the Gulf of Mexico, like 10 years later, the report states that progress has been uneven and critical gaps remain in comprehensively addressing the management of systemic risk offshore. Subsequent evaluations attributed the disaster to lapses in management, organizations, and regulation. And we're getting less more deregulation right now. It might be worse, the situation. And then the representatives of major U.S. associations that often speak on behalf of offshore oil and gas exploration and production, those companies declined the invitation to meet with the committee. And the committee read numerous reports and articles and recommended reforms. So they didn't want to hear about the reforms of this committee. What was the committee called? They had all these professors on it. Can't remember what it is.
Yeah, well, we know that they're coming for all things good, and
Division Committee of the Gulf Research Program. That's what it is. They had all these suggestions to reform things, and
could you send that to me, please?
What?
Could you send that to me?
I'm trying to find the links to. I was trying to. I copied a report because I missed the webinar on it. It's a web NASEM, NASEM. They might have a replay if you can get their replay.
Okay, I'll look for it because I'm here in Florida and I covered the oil spill. That's kind of how I came to this work.
It's called the
After covering the
Division
oil spill as a
Committee of the
journalist.
Gulf Research Program.
I'll look it up. Thank you for that information.
National Academy of Sciences, something like that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And if there's any, if you ever need to get in touch with us, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you all so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you next month. We do have a couple of other exciting calls coming up. I think it's is it next month?
Yeah, I believe so. I'll drop the link right now in the chat.
Yeah, we'll share more as we go along in the newsletter and elsewise, and keep your eye out for new actions that are coming up. And if y'all are out there and you're doing things, send pictures in. They tell a story. And if you want to write something about what's going on in your community that we could post on our website, or if you want to do a clip, there's a link on the website where you can just push play and it'll record you if you want to do a rant or a raise up or anything like that. Because our stories are what connects us. And we're on this journey with real people. And I'm really honored to be on this journey with you. I look forward to seeing y'all in the streets and here next month.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Yeah.
Alfonso.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.